Bonjour tout le monde, welcome back to Montreal Rides. A few days ago I realized I had just passed 5,000 kilometers on my new NQi GTS electric moped. So I figured I'd do a review of some kind. This is my first time doing a review, so bear with me. So in 5,000 kilometers I've been pretty much everywhere on the island of Montreal. I've been to the island of, we call it Jesus Island, the city of Laval. I've been on the South Shore. I've crossed the Jacques-Cartier Bridge. And I'm planning to go onto mainland, like Mount St. Bruno, past Laval up to the north, get off the island to the east, the west. I'm trying to go everywhere. I do have limited range on this thing, which I will talk about later. Now, why did I choose the NQi GTS? Well, back in 2023 I bought a new UQi Plus. Now it was legally an electric bicycle, I guess you could say, but it looked like a mini moped, and that was the little thing, right? The laws didn't say anything about what it needed to look like. It just said basically speed limit, wattage limit 500 watts, 32 kilometers an hour, and pedals, things like that. But because the UQi Plus and other e-bikes that look like mopeds got popular, people got pissed off, and this government decided to impose a ban overnight on various bikes, basically on e-bikes. So I had to get rid of my UQi Plus. I never got rid of it because I can't sell it anywhere in the province. It's just in my backyard. And I was like, well, what do I do? I mean, I enjoyed it. I had discovered the joy of riding on two wheels. So I went and did my driver's license to get my scooter license, a class 6D in Quebec, which allows anything that goes up to 70 kilometers an hour, 50 cc's or under, things like that. And I bought myself the new NQi GTS. Now, let's go over the technical specifications, the dry stuff. I don't have a good memory for this, so I'm going to be using my phone and give you some close-up shots of various things on the bike. So first of all, this is a 2022 model, an early 2022 model. They make some every year. They keep improving on it. Basically, it's a high-performance electric scooter. It has a 3,000 watt or 3 kilowatt Bosch motor, a top speed of 75 kilometers an hour, and up to, on paper, in theory, 165 kilometers of range. In reality, it's a bit shorter. I'll go into that a bit later in the video. It has 3 riding modes, Eco, Dynamic, and Sport. It has 14-inch wheels, and it's got a smart app on the phone, which I'll show you in a bit, with real-time GPS tracking. So for performance and powertrain, now it's a 125cc equivalent, but because it's limited at 70 kilometers an hour in my province, and it's electric, in my province it classifies as a 50cc moped, just because of the top speed limitations. Like I said, top speed is 75 kilometers an hour in sports mode. In dynamic, it's 45 kilometers an hour, and eco mode, it's 25 kilometers an hour. The braking system uses a regenerative electronic braking system, or EBS, and hydraulic discs with CBS, combined braking system, which means that the left brake on my handlebar activates both the front and the back brake, and the right brake only activates the front brake. I would have preferred having both independently for better control, as I've learned over time, but for those who are new, having both wheels have the right kind of pressure on their brakes is kind of new. After a few years, you want that independence. As for batteries, it comes with either standard range or extended range batteries. I got the extended range. So for extended range, we got 60 volt, 35 amp hour lithium ion batteries, which gives me the theoretical range of 165 kilometers. It's about 105 kilometers maximum range on standard batteries. We have a ground clearance of 180 millimeters, 18 centimeters. The seat height is 815 millimeters, which basically means 0.8 meters. And the weight of it is 113 kilograms. And more. There's a bit more to it. Because if you add the batteries, they're about 12.5 kilos each. So that's 25 plus the 113. We're up to like 150 kilos. And it's connected with a new app. It has a dash display that shows everything. And although 2022 is when they started having keyless ignition, mine does not. It's an earlier model, like the end of the batch, beginning of a new whatever. I prefer it that way, because if you have keyless, then there's a chance of getting hacked. If you need the key, then you need the physical key, so you can't get hacked. And it's got cruise control, and it also has a USB-C port and a grocery bag hook. What else do we have? That's it. So, let's get on to the next step. Now, when it comes to acceleration, which mode you're in makes a big difference, of course. So if you're in eco mode, you have a slow acceleration. I mean, you're not going to reach 25 kilometers an hour too fast, and you're not going to be going too fast anyways. When you're in dynamic mode, it's a bit better. I use dynamic mode with the top speed of 45 and the okay acceleration when I'm in residential streets, basically. I still want to accelerate. I want to cross that street or whatever it is, keep up with the flow of traffic. But it limits you from over speeding, basically. If your throttle is down to the max, you're still only reaching a maximum of 45 kilometers an hour. And most residential streets in Montreal are 30 or 40 kilometers an hour, so it's perfect. And of course, because it's a 125cc equivalent, when you're in sport mode for acceleration, it's pretty good. You get in front of the pack. If I'm able to get in front of cars, that would be awesome. You can basically get ahead of everyone pretty easily. And also, if you're like on a small street that's trying to cross a 6-lane boulevard, at least this one will let you cross it fast and not be in the way. As for handling, I mean, it's a scooter, it's a moped. Handling is going to be awesome. It's light, nimble, and as long as you practice your skills, then you just get better and better with it. Always make sure you check your mirrors, always make sure you shoulder check. That's the important part, safety first. Let me show you the acceleration here. See, ahead of the pack, that's it. On gas-powered 50cc mopeds, usually you hear that like lawnmower engine going meh, and it takes like a few seconds for it to even start going. On this, you go. It's electric. That's it. And as for the braking, well, my only concern was that the mechanic that did the tune-up on my bike didn't put enough brake fluid, in my brake fluid container here, which I find is kind of silly. You notice it The less brake fluid there is, the less hydraulics there is, right? Because you need liquids for hydraulics. So when you start seeing a large bubble, this one is okay. This one is less bad. I've been using the left brake a lot when I first got it because I was new to it. And that's why it's lower. Now I've been using the front brake on the right a lot more. First because the left one was getting sluggish, and second, I'm practicing my skills to eventually level up to a full-fledged motorcycle. But yeah, the braking is good. After 5,000 kilometers, the pads are still in good shape. I don't know how long they'll last longer. Hopefully another 5,000, but if I need to replace them, I'll replace them. If I start feeling like I'm not stopping, like everything is taking longer to get to a full stop, then yeah, it's time to check your brakes. I make sure to clean the disc also with some brake cleaning fluids. Now when it comes to the battery, let's see. First, we're in Montreal. The temperature can affect the battery. That's a reality for all electric vehicles. The colder it is, the more it needs to use energy to move. So your range will be slightly lower, but it doesn't affect it that much. Also, you need to keep in mind that it takes 6 to 8 hours for a full charge from 0 to 100%. So, you know, you can't just like plan a trip that's gonna bring you somewhere where there's no place for you to charge for a few hours. It uses the regular 110, 120 outlets that we have in North America, and the charger comes with it. It has like the big box. It has a splitter to plug it in both batteries. That's if you bring the batteries out of the moped and bring it upstairs to your apartment or something like that. Or if you have a garage or exterior outlet, then you can also plug it directly under the seat. There's a single plug that charges both batteries if both batteries are plugged in. Of course, you don't want the charger to be exposed to sunlight for all that time. So if it's not in the shade, do it indoors, either inside your garage or inside your house. Now the important thing to note is what they claim is the range and what the range actually is. They say it's 160 kilometers, ooh wah, but 160 kilometers is if you weigh like 90 pounds, like 40 kilos, and that you're running in economy mode at low speeds without going uphill. And of course, in economy mode, you're stuck at 25 kilometers an hour, so nobody rides in economy mode. So that claimed maximum range of 160 is bullcrap. The reality is, I'm always riding on dynamic or sports mode, depending on the needs, depending on the road that I'm on, depending if I need to pass someone and stuff. So what happens is it's about 1% per kilometer. So we could say it's about 100 kilometer range. Now here's the caveat about that. All NIU new vehicles have this feature where once you reach 15% of your battery, it automatically drops into economy mode. So if you didn't make it home yet, then, well, you will make it home, but very slowly. And if you're on a busy boulevard, you kind of don't want that. So you have to calculate that you have 85% of usable charge in a realistic riding scenario. So that's about 85 kilometers. So to play it safe, I always aim for a maximum of 80 kilometers of a ride before I need to charge my batteries. So that's what I do usually. If I'm going somewhere, I take the 80 kilometers, or the whatever the distance I need to do. Like 80 kilometers divided by 2, that's 40. So you have 40 kilometers to get somewhere, 40 kilometers to come back. So 160 or 80, that's half the mileage. Always pay attention to that. So what do I do when I charge my batteries? Well, it depends. You know, you have to plan ahead. If I know I'm going to do some long distance that requires, like, I look at what charge I have left, what kilometers I'm going to be doing the next day. And if I don't have enough charge, taking into account that extra 15%, then I charge my batteries. Even if it's already at 50 or 60 even. If I'm going to do a whole 80 kilometer round trip, then I need to fully charge it. If I know I'm just going to the local grocery store or things like that, something close, then I'll wait before charging it. And because I live in an apartment upstairs with no parking or anything, I just take my batteries out, bringing it upstairs to my apartment, plug it in, and that's it. Now, one thing we can talk about is the reliability and the build quality. There's ups and downs. One of the advantages is that it's a solid frame inside the plastic panels. Basically, I think the solid frame is like, I don't know, it's metal. It works, right? One of the problem is this is plastic. All the panels are plastic. And with the reality of the Montreal streets, with all the potholes that we have and just the general bad quality of the roads, it takes its toll. One of the things I realized after 5,000 kilometers was that this panel, which goes along the side all the way up to here, was broken over here because there's this few screws along the edges that hold the panel together. See how it's loose? There's no screws holding anything here because of the kickstand. So this shakes a lot. And what happened is that while the screw was still there, the plastic hole into which the screw goes was gone. So the whole panel was shaking, and which means it cracked. As soon as I noticed it, I went to the service center and I got the panel replaced. In Canadian dollars, the panel cost $89, and because there were so many screws and you had to open other panels to get to the screws, basically the guy charged me $35 of labor, so $120, $130, and I got the panel replaced. Not too expensive compared to a car, but I would have preferred something made of metal, like traditional scooters, like Vespas, Honda Ruckus and stuff like that. So that's one of the realities. Otherwise, the bike is solid and it resists whatever you throw at it. It's just the plastic panels. Now, one of the realities of Montreal is the orange cone, the unofficial mascot, as you see here, and what it does to people's suspensions. Shock absorbers can only absorb so much shock. At the city, or actually has bylaws that says you only have 15 days to claim compensation for damages, unless it's bodily harm. Then in that case, it's 3 years. But you know, in a car with good suspensions, it's not bad. On a moped, even with good shocks, even with a comfortable seat, it's not fun. Ow. I put the camera down next to my rear shocks just so you can see what happens to it. And those grunts are not faked. Ow. You feel everything. So that's how you end up with broken plastic panels. And that's why I would like the metal panels instead. Yeah. Some streets just never get better, even when they fix it the yearly after it's broken. Now let's take a look at the app. We have battery charge, range left. We have the riding data. Tells you where you've been, the distance traveled, how long it took, average speeds. We also have the battery. See your usage, how many charging cycles you've used, different stats. And we have the smart check that will verify anything electronic on your moped or any new product that you have, whether it's an e-bike, moped, or kick scooter. Now it's important to note that you have to bind the app to your moped, and it also alerts you if there's abnormal vibrations, if it's moving without the key, where it is with the GPS. It was handy for me when my former UQi Plus was stolen. I found it within 2 hours just because the GPS signal brought me to it. Called the cops, and the robber was taken away, and I got my scooter back. As we see, 100%. So what's the final verdict? Well, I think it's nice. Who is it for? It's for people who do local commute. Students, if you want to do some grocery shopping, not large Costco grocery shopping, just regular grocery shopping. You know, just local commutes, basically. Who it's not for? Well, basically, if you want to do some long distance touring, if you want to leave the island, if you want to go on the highway, it's not for you. Would I buy it again? Oh, yes and no. It all depends on the situation. In my current situation, where I have no other means of transport and I'm not planning to go anywhere, yes, I'd buy it again. But for me, I plan to go and explore the rest of the country. Canada is the second largest landmass in the world, so there's a lot to check out. So I'm slowly making my way to eventually start motorcycle classes and eventually upgrade from a moped to a full-fledged motorcycle. It won't be electric because, well, you know, we're not there yet when it comes to range. If I want to cross thousands of kilometers, I need gas. I can't just travel 80 kilometers, find a motel to sleep at, to charge overnight, and then do another 80 kilometers. It's going to take me half a year to cross the country, let alone explore the nooks and crannies. So that's it. I hope you liked my review. If you did, leave me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Je vous souhaite une bonne journée. Stay safe on the roads, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.